Hey everybody, this is Jason Thomas, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to stretch rasterized line art. Now, this is by no means something you should think about using on a regular basis. It's more of something to kind of use if you're in a pinch and you want to stretch some line art that you got, but you also don't want to lose any resolution. So, anyway, what I have here is a pre-made PSD. I'm going to go ahead and open that up with Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CS6, but you can use any version of Photoshop. As far as I know, it works with every iteration. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen and make that dock disappear. Okay, so as you'll notice, this is at just standard 5x7 at 72 pixels per inch. So it's standard monitor resolution. But anyway, what we want to do is, you see, I have this drawing that I made here. It's right here on this drawing layer, and it's not a smart object, so I'm going to open up the transform controls. If you don't know how to do that, you can always just hit show transform controls, or you can hit Command T or Control T if you're on a PC, and you'll open these controls. So what happens, since this is a raster layer, when you try to stretch it, notice I'm going to stretch it real big, it gets really blurry around these edges. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in right here. And you can see that it's really, really blurry around the edges, and that happens because Photoshop is just stretching the pixels that are there. It's not creating new pixels. So, I mean, if this was a vector piece, let's say it was made in Illustrator, this would be a different story. You would have crisp lines, and it really wouldn't matter. But since this is made with pixels, it's a raster file. So, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and just shrink it back. So that's what it was at its original resolution. And that's what it looks like stretched. So obviously we can't really use this in any kind of print work or even the web for that matter. It's just bad. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and shrink it again, zoom back out to 100%. All right, and just so we can have a good before and after, I'm gonna go ahead and make a copy of this layer. And you could do that with any layer by just holding Alt and dragging. So, Alt and drag, you can make a copy. All right, that's not important. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just stretch this one. Okay, I'm gonna make it about 1.5 times bigger, or double the size actually. Okay, so and I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in, and you can already see that this is starting to look a little fuzzy around that line versus this one. Now, normally this would, you would probably just go up to filter and sharpen, but that tends to get really jagged edges and stuff, so I'm not gonna do that. Right. Okay, well there we were. I'm gonna stretch a little bit more, so you guys can get a good idea of what I'm about to show you. So we're going to go ahead and set that. Alright, so now that we have our stretch made, we're going to go ahead and select it, and you do that by holding Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and tapping on the layer. So what that does is that it creates a selection of everything that's on the layer. Alright, so we're going to go ahead after this, go to your Channels panel, and if you don't have your channels right here, you can always just go to Window and Channels, and it'll be right there. Okay. So now the next step would be to create a channel mask. So we're going to go ahead and tap that. And it'll make a new channel layer called Alpha 1. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And at this point, you can go ahead and deselect. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go up to Filter, Blur. And we're going to go to Gaussian Blur. Or Gaussian Blur. I've probably pronounced different ways, but, it's not important. That is way too much. So we're going to bring it down a little. To about, let's call it just 1. This one will work. It'll depend on the line art. This one happens to work for this one, and the larger you stretch your line art, the more of a blur you're going to need to add. The goal of this point of any line art is that you want it to get rid of most of the jagged edges. So you want just a smooth, blurry line. It's pretty good, so we're going to call it 1. We're going to hit OK. All right, now we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and levels. There we go. Okay. I'm used to just hitting Command L or Control L for you guys that are on a PC. All right. So now that we've got your fuzzy lines, we're going to go ahead and use levels to start sharpening those lines. So we're going to do that by dragging the dark portion of the pixels in. Where you can already see some changes are happening here, and we're going to grab the lighter pixels and bring it into there. Now you can already see that this is getting to be a really sharp edge. It's a little too sharp. It's starting to look a little jagged. So I'm going to take these apart a little bit further. Just a little bit more. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, and after we're done with that, we're gonna hold Command and again Control for you PC users. We're gonna go ahead and click on our alpha layer. Okay, so once we're done with that, we're gonna jump right back into Layer panel, and we're gonna create a new layer. Now, creating a new layer is going to take us out of the channel mode and just turn on all of your RGB channels if you're using an RGB layer. Okay, and then we're going to go to Edit, Fill. And then you can fill this with black or white or whatever color. I'm just going to use black just to keep things uniform here. And we hit OK. All right, I'm going to go ahead and deselect. And I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side. Let me get this cropped so you can see everything. Okay, and there's obviously a big difference between this and this. So if you notice, this is really fuzzy, and then this is really sharp. Now you can keep doing this too. So if you needed to make this like way bigger like that, I wouldn't suggest doing it from this stage to this stage here. Just simply because the more drastic the changes, the less this method becomes effective. So I mean, as you can see, like these lines do have a bit of white space in between right here, and you can see that the process we did kind of merged them a little together. So that's one pitfall of this method. You would want to use this method if you're drawing something really small, which I have a habit of doing. So if you're gonna draw things like that tiny, I don't know what this is, but you get the idea. But if you need it stretched to this big, it might be a good method for you. All right, so my name's Jason Thomas. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll come up with some more Photoshop tutorials. Leave your comments, do what you gotta do. Bye.